Subscribe for more content. Just a side story. I lost my brother last year, and so I've just been making a ton of changes, and I work corporate life, but I really want to do this for a living. And so please like, subscribe, follow, share with your friends and family, anybody that has a Fitbit or any kind of device that's measuring their activity, because I can guarantee you almost anybody's going to learn something new in this video. So please watch all of it. Okay, if you got a Fitbit or you're going to get a Fitbit or you want a reason to get a Fitbit, I can prove it to you why you need one. But how I use my Fitbit's simple. You want to install it, get all that stuff set up, okay? And once you do that, you can also connect other apps to it. This is important because certain apps like Wide Things, they have a connector to it. So you can actually send data back and forth between other apps. That's one way that I use it that makes it pretty cool. Not all of them allow you to do this. Not all of them have syncing to stuff. But in Google Fit, now they own Fitbit, Google does, and they have pretty cool connector in here too. So you can connect things over like your exercise, sleep, your heart activity, as well as from my Wide Things blood pressure meter, I get my vitals and I can actually check my blood pressure. You can see that's the last time I checked, it was 5 days ago, but it also records other things too, but it feeds the data over from Fitbit into Google Fit. Pretty cool, right? So back into Fitbit. So really what I use this for is I try to just wear it all the time, make it as accurate as possible. When you sleep, when you work out, all that stuff. When you're feeling stressed, you can go in here and you could say, I'm feeling pretty stressed, and you can log it. Or if you're calm, you can log it too. The more the better. Don't do it every 5 minutes, but do it every day if you can, just to kind of get an idea of where you're at, because you're going to see things shift over time. Trust me, with more data, it's going to be more accurate, and it's going to actually start to form a pattern. All right, so I use it to look at my sleep. You can look at it all over the place just to see how good you've been doing historically, seasonally, whatever. I also record my exercises. I don't do it manually. I actually just hit exercise, whatever exercise I'm doing on the Fitbit, and I just set it and forget it and then turn it off when I'm done. The health metrics are probably one of the most important, but I would say resting heart rate to me is the biggest precursor, because if your heart rate is high, if you're up in the 80s, 90s, like you're using 10 or 20% more beats per minute out of your heart, and it's gonna back up real quick. And so if you have a low heart rate, low resting heart rate, that's pretty healthy, but also your heart rate variability. Also, I am not a doctor, okay, or a professional. These are my opinions and intended for education purposes only, but this is what I do, and this is my opinion and how I use this app. So please just pay attention. So if you want to feel better, there's certain metrics that are associated with a feeling of betterness. And I'm only saying this because if you have a high resting heart rate, you're probably in a state of stress or something's going on, an infection, whatever. But all of these different metrics will tell you different things about you, like how fast you're breathing. If you're breathing slow, shallow breaths, you could be in a fight or flight and heightened anxiety, and basically your blood leaves your fingertips and goes to your organs and your core. And that's why your fingers and circulation starts to do weird stuff when you get really stressed out, is because your body is basically using, I want to say it's the parasympathetic nervous system, potentially, the autonomous one, to send all of the normal activities, vitals, functions to where they need to be when things hit the fan, okay? So your breathing rate is important, because if you have a really shallow breathing rate and you breathe a lot per minute, that could be an indicator that you're taking shallow breaths and you might be in a heightened state of stress. Your heart rate variability is the time in between the beats. Your blood has to or your heart has to dilate and collect blood, and it's part of the rhythm. So it's really important, because if it's short and quick, that means that it's probably going to mean you have a higher resting heart rate. There's more beats per minute. You probably have shallow breaths as well associated with it, but there's a lot of things. Your skin temperature, oxygen saturation, and again, your resting heart rate. So really all I use these for is I go into the trends here and I look at my trends over time. You can see something happened in July where my breathing per minute rate was down. You can also see my heart rate variability. It's not too great. They say anything below 30 is not good, but you want to go for as high as possible. I've seen some people that have over 100, but you can see here that there's a lot of volatility, and I can tell you right now that my sleep has a lot to do with that, just because I know my sleep schedule and I know what days I'm doing good, bad, whatever. But these things you'll see come up over time. The range and the average and the shaded lines is the averages, the high and low average, and anything goes outside of that is why there's a black dot. That's an anomaly, okay? So one thing that's important to note, though, is that last year my averages were about 10, maybe 15 points less. So my heart rate variability has been going up, my resting heart rate has been going down. You can see here when I go into the yearly view and I look at this year, I'm at 68. I'm in the 60s, 69. And then when you go back to 2022, it's 71. And then 2021, it was 73, I believe. And then 2020, I want to say it was 75. This is when I first got this thing. And then the end of 2019, I think I was way up there in like 80. Yeah, it was crazy. So I've actually watched my heart rate go down over time, but there's a lot of things I had to do. And I can tell you right now off the top of my head, the two things that did it the quickest and that were noticeable was sleep and the sauna, or getting your heart rate up from exercise, doing aerobic. Do a lot of cardio and high intensity workout, and your body balances itself out and lowers your heart rate. That's why marathon runners that get their heart rates way, way, way up high, they have very low resting heart rates because their heart is very efficient. The more efficient your heart, the less work it does, the longer you'll live, the happier you'll live, the better you'll live. I really hope this helps everybody, but please like, subscribe, follow. Tell me your thoughts. Is this a fucking retarded video, or did this help you? Because it helped me, and I hope it helps somebody else, because these are the ways that I use my Fitbit. So thanks for watching. Take care.